Cape Verde is an archipelago of volcanic origin situated in the Atlantic Ocean off the coast of Senegal, the closest continental point. Portuguese settlers arrived in the islands in 1462 and founded Ribeira Grande, the first permanent European settlement in the tropics. The archipelago prospered tremendously in the 16th century owing to its transatlantic slave trade. Portuguese settlements were periodically attacked by pirates. The English captain Sir Francis Drake sacked Ribeira Grande in 1585. After a French attack in 1712, the city declined in importance relative to nearby Praia, which later became the capital in 1770. Recurrent drought and famine threatened the survival of the archipelago from the end of the 18th century, and, with the decline of the slave trade, its fragile prosperity soon became history. However, the island's position astride mid-Atlantic shipping lanes made Cape Verde an ideal location for supplying ships. Mindelo, on the island of São Vicente, became an important commercial center during the 19th century as a result of its excellent harbor. In 1956, Amilcar Cabral and Rafael Barbosa jointly organized the clandestine African Party for the Independence of Guinea-Bissau and Cape Verde, known as the PAIGC in Guinea-Bissau. The PAIGC demanded improvement in economic, social, and political conditions in Cape Verde and Guinea-Bissau, and formed the basis of the two nations' independence movement. Following the April 1974 revolution in Portugal, the PAIGC became an active political movement in Cape Verde. In December 1974, the PAIGC in Portugal signed an accord providing for a transitional government composed of Portuguese and Cape Verdeans. On June 30th, 1975, Cape Verde elected a National Assembly, which received the instruments of independence from Portugal on July 5th, 1975. A better part of the population is composed of the descendants of Portuguese colonists and African slaves from various ethnic backgrounds.
A phenomenon that has taken even political analysts by surprise. A growing grassroots movement born on the internet to elect a virtual unknown to the highest office in the country. It began on a popular online chat site where Diana Baldone, a former master model, was the weekly talk show.
All started to joke. Somebody called in and said, hey, I've got this great scientist to be president. And I thought, you know what, we've asked a lot of people, so why not see if we can make it happen?
But no one could have anticipated what happened next. What began as a joke turned into a groundswell of popular support for a candidate no one had ever heard of.
All of a sudden, literally thousands of people were chatting and texting to support this random person who they didn't even know was president. And I thought, what are we doing here?
What they had started was what political analysts now call massive nationwide political rally.
We may be witnessing an historically unprecedented situation where an unknown candidate poses a tangible threat to Republican and Democratic candidates in this country.
Across the country, people from all walks of life are making an extraordinary show of support for a candidate who, so far, no one.
Come to the ancient city of Lalibela for the festival of Timcat, hoping for a glimpse of the tablets. To come close to the tablet is to come close to the Word of God itself. From the labyrinths, they form a procession and make their way to the baptism pool. Scenes like this were described in the Bible when the Israelites welcomed Moses' return from Mount Sinai with the Ten Commandments. Spiritual journey. From now on, there will be no turning back. Celebrating the baptism of Christ, the faithful are themselves blessed by the holy water of Lalibela. The awe-inspiring mountains of the Horn have nurtured Ethiopian culture for thousands of years. Religion has grown strong in this landscape. With what is claimed to be the Ark of the Covenant hidden from view in Aksum, the truth behind these incredible beliefs remains uncovered. There is evidence that a mighty civilization flourished here. But for the Christians of Ethiopia, no proof is needed, only faith.
give me a few minutes just to talk to all of you in our NASA family about emergency preparedness. NASA recently participated in a FEMA exercise called Eagle Horizon. It was part of a continuity of operations and government exercise that we do annually. And I became aware of some things that concern me about our family preparedness, and I wanted to talk to you very briefly. You know, we in NASA, we're an incredibly unique organization. We're the only agency in the federal government that's responsible for the safety and well-being of people not only here on Earth, but off this planet. So my experience in the astronaut office, my experience as an active duty Marine, always talked about the importance of family preparedness and to make sure that we had a viable family support program. And I have concerns that ours right now is not as good as it ought to be. So what I'm asking all of you in the NASA family, whether you're out on the West Coast here, on the East Coast, along the Gulf Coast, up on the Great Lakes, think about the natural disasters that could occur in your area. Think about attacks that could come like 9/11 from outside forces, and talk to your family about your work and what they need to do to prepare for the unforeseen. Develop a family preparedness.
A dark age in American history. Slaves were put to work and worked to death. They picked cotton, tobacco, rice, and sugarcane. True, you should never forget your past and your beliefs.
A lot of youths in this country don't have no culture, don't have no focus, don't have no foundation of nothing, you know. And the street is a lot of youth foundation. So if you can show one where black people come from, or black people
got together and we started this project. We went on trips. First thing I did was take you with. That's the first place you went, Washington? You didn't go to Pardon Ways yet? Yeah, you went to Pardon Ways. Remember, you was taking video from me. And you went to Pardon Ways, and what did you think about this Pardon Ways project? You never heard nothing about these black brothers fought in the Revolutionary War. So what was you thinking? What was you thinking about these?
When I first went up there, I looked at the grave and said, wow, there were black soldiers, there were people before me. Nobody told me about it. That's what I'm thinking about. Then, I don't know, something, I don't want to say hopped in me, but I guess that's the only word I can use, something hopped in me.
But you weren't aware then that something hopped in your butt, did you?
No.
Was there some kind of presence there, energy or something that you still go there now? You still working on the project?
Something.
What made you stick all these years?
Well, because Pardon Ways also represents change and life and experience in life that you have to just go follow, because these people had to do some horrendous shit. Some horrendous stuff.
Yeah,
they had a harsh place to live in. Just to get that.
Well, look at, we're talking about the times in the past. Young people don't want to talk about the past. They complain, man, you too old. That's why it's important for me to get the younger people to understand they can go through a whole lifetime and not know what the hell they're here for and why they're going through the changes they're going through. Mm-hmm. All right, just the fact that this sister is intelligent and this brother is intelligent and having an intelligent conversation about their egos, about their personality, is helpful.
Yeah.
So if someone had these conversations with you, instead of you being out there all these years not having anybody talking this kind of way,
That'd be 10 years before my time if that was the case.
You would be 10 years ahead.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, well, anyway, this is what we want to do is educate in a different way. We don't want them to go to schools or colleges, and we found out that college ain't nothing but a ripoff. If people come out of college with a lifetime of enslavement and debt and usury.
And still can't get a job with a master's degree.
Can't work right next to the guy at McDonald's.
I know.
You know.
I got a master's degree. Why you flipping burgers?
And homelessness, shit, that's just a matter of jobs. They ship your job out, you think your job's waiting for you.
There's no jobs waiting for these people because they can't create these jobs that's supposed to be waiting for
Okay,
them.
now see, that brother and sister, and me and you, have managed to accomplish things, even though you was in the dilemma you were with your two mothers and the children. Even though finances was crazy, we didn't have nothing. Fighting homelessness, living on the streets, hunger, all that stuff there you was going through. Me, I'm over here 60-some-odd years old. I got to retire because I can't keep working like I was working. So we decided to do this fatherhood thing together. And just the two of us right now actually have accomplished more, I think. In fact, our videos on YouTube and capeverdean.net and our webpage, Rhode Island First Fatherhood.info, it's got more information, more knowledge, more, and people don't have to be a reader because today, like it says, the scientists say, in the future, people won't be taught out of books or institutions and universities and schools. They'll be taught by media on the internet. There's nobody going to be paying professors crazy money and institutions. The economy is going to crash.
As it is right now, some kids going to school, boy.
$250,000 in debt when they get out, or more.
And it's still dumb as hell.
And then it's still dumb as hell. Not all of them.
Not all of them, but a majority seem to go to college, get those degrees, and the only thing they know in the world is
to
what
get
they
job.
study to get that job.
Get that job. And then they get that job, they don't do nothing but slave. They don't have time. Their lives are under the control and conditions of that employment.
Yes. And that
if their mothers came there,
college.
If their mother showed up and said, "We caused trouble," and you was a security guard, your job is to get him. If you was a cop and your brother is stealing a car, you're supposed to shoot him if he tries to run. Think of the things we do for money.
For money.
To keep that job.
Money, keep that job. A slave,
Let's listen to see what these people have to say one time. I want to catch the next clip because the brother's heavy.
We'd always thought the deadline for going public was the publication of the budget, since we've spent more money than we can hide. The budget comes out in 2 weeks. I don't suppose I could convince you to sit on this for 2 weeks.
No such thing as 2 weeks in the news business.
And I can't appeal to your sense of what's in the nation's best interest.
Well, I always thought the truth was in the nation's best interest.
One of them gets bumped, or like a billiard ball on a pool table, and is knocked into a different orbit. Now, if this comet continues on its path around the sun and keeps its present course, sometime on August 16th, roughly a year from now, there's a chance that we might have impact. So for the past 8 months, the United States and Russia have been building the largest spaceship ever constructed. It's being built in orbit around the Earth, and we call it the Messiah. Right now, a team of American astronauts and one Russian are at Cape Canaveral in Florida. In 2 months, they will leave on the shuttle Atlantis to board the Messiah. This is the crew that will stop the comet.
Jenny Lerner, MSNBC.
Son of a bitch.
Mr. President, why wasn't this announcement made sooner?
Well, until we knew we could build the rocket and the comet could be intercepted, we saw no reason to alarm the planet.
Sir.
Do you have another question, Ms. Lerner?
Yeah. Is there a connection between the comet and the recall of American troops from abroad?
Our fighting men and women are coming home because we felt it prudent, in light of domestic security concerns, to have them available. Although I certainly hope we don't need to use them. Next question.
Actually, Mr. President, if for just one final question, sir. MSNBC has learned that Secretary Rittenhouse did not leave for the reasons announced by your administration. In fact, isn't it true, sir, that not everyone in your administration is convinced that the Messiah will save us?
Secretary Rittenhouse served his country with full devotion. He resigned for personal reasons. Now, I can promise you this, Ms. Lerner, all of you, everyone in this room and everyone listening to my voice, that at some point over the next 10 months, all of us will entertain our worst fears and concerns. But I can also promise you this, life will go on. We will prevail.
That's Leo Biederman. I said it again. Yeah. Leo, is he talking about you? He is, isn't he?
Propelled by 500,000 pounds of liquid fuel, the shuttle crew heads toward their initial destination. When the crew enters the Messiah, they will find a payload of 8 nuclear devices that will eventually be used to blow up the comet. Messiah.
So, in the soft limestone of Missouri, we've been preparing a network of immense caves, and they're almost finished. And we can put 1 million people in them. And that 1 million people can survive there underground for 2 years until the air clears and the dust settles. And the cave is more than a dormitory. It's our new Noah's Ark. We're storing seeds and seedlings, plants, animals, enough to start over. On August 10th, a computer will randomly select 800,000 Americans to join the 200,000 scientists, doctors, engineers, teachers, soldiers, and artists who have already been chosen. Other countries are preparing similar caves along whatever lines they feel are best to preserve their way of life. This is ours. Beginning tonight and continuing until the crisis passes, I am declaring a state of martial law. The armed forces and the National Guard are working with local law enforcement. A national curfew begins at midnight tonight. And wherever you are, go home.
We had heard through the media that a missile attack had killed Osama bin Laden, a week ago, and then we had heard that DNA testing had confirmed that Osama bin Laden had...
Let us remember that we can do these things not just because of wealth or power, but because of who we are. One nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. May God bless you, and may God bless the United States of America.
President Obama speaking from the East Room of the White House, telling the nation and the world President Obama is in fact dead. It was a U.S.
And now we have what some are reading as a suggestion that somebody knock off Obama. Well, both we could.
But you know, talk about how you really feel. But do you really think that?
We've had those arguments, and
I've lost them all. This is a tough question to ask. But a number of years ago, Colin Powell was thinking about running for president. And his wife, Alma, really did not want him to run. She was worried about some crazy person with a gun. Mm-hmm. Is that something that you think about?
I don't lose sleep over it, because the realities are that, as a black man, Barack can get shot going to the gas station. So you can't, you can't make decisions based on fear and the possibility of what might happen. We just weren't raised that way.